Have you ever felt like your whole world was falling apart, but something inside you whispered, "This is not the end, this is the beginning"? What if awakening isn't about gaining something, but about losing everything that isn't real? Today, I want to tell you a story about waking up. Not the kind of waking up where you open your eyes in the morning, but the kind where you finally see through the lies you were told and the ones you told yourself. Let me tell you a story about someone. Let's call him Ravi. Ravi had a good job, nice apartment, a car, and enough followers on social media to feel seen. People called him successful, but every night, when the world got quiet, he felt like something was missing. He couldn't name it, so he scrolled more, worked more, drank more. On the outside, everything looked fine, but inside, Ravi was drowning in a quiet lie that this mask, this performance was who he truly was. And many of us live here, in this comfortable lie. We play roles so well, the achiever, the good child, the provider, that we forget we're acting. But something inside knows. It always knows. Self-reflection. What roles have I been playing just to feel accepted or secure? Real awakening begins when the comfort starts to itch. Then one day, Ravi paused. He was staring out the window, and a thought passed through like a breeze. Is this really who I am? It was small, barely a whisper. But it stayed. He started to notice how drained he felt pretending to enjoy things he didn't. How much energy went into being normal. These whispers weren't dramatic. They didn't scream. They simply asked, "What's true?" And when you start hearing those whispers, you can't unhear them. Self-reflection. When was the last time I asked myself, do I even like the life I'm living? The whispers are your soul calling you back. Ravi began noticing the cracks. He realized how often he said yes when he meant no. How some friendships were built on fear of being alone, not love. He began questioning, why do I care so much about what others think? Reality started wobbling. The things that once felt stable, his job title, reputation, even religion, no longer felt solid. It's scary when your truths begin to shake. But this is where awakening really begins. Because now, you're no longer asleep. Self-reflection. What truths have I believed without ever questioning them? Who am I, if I'm not who I thought I was? This question hit Ravi hard. He had always been the achiever, the funny guy, the smart one. But those were just costumes. When he started taking them off, what was left? Silence. And that silence scared him. Many turn back here. They run to distractions, back to comfort. But if you can sit with the silence, something beautiful happens. Self-reflection. What identities am I afraid to lose, and why? Crisis, when embraced, becomes transformation. Ravi stopped fighting. He let himself fall apart. He cried. He deleted the app. He stopped showing up where his soul didn't feel welcome. This wasn't weakness. It was surrender. He surrendered the illusion that he had to be someone. And in that surrender, something softened. Awakening isn't about chasing light. It's about turning to face the dark with open eyes. Self-reflection. What would happen if I stopped trying to hold it all together? Sometimes falling apart is grace in disguise. After the storm of letting go, Ravi didn't feel free right away. He felt empty. He wasn't the old version of himself anymore. But he wasn't sure who the new him was either. And that's the part no one talks about. Awakening isn't fireworks. Sometimes it's just stillness. No thrill. No grand vision, just space. Like a field after a wildfire, blackened but clear. This phase isn't comfortable, but it's sacred. It's here that the real you begins to grow. Self-reflection. Can I sit with the emptiness without trying to fill it? Because emptiness is not nothing. It's the space where truth begins to bloom. One day, Ravi sat in silence and noticed something strange. The same sun was shining, the same trees outside, but something was different. He wasn't looking at life anymore, he was in it. When his friend gossiped, he didn't jump in. When he was praised, he smiled, but didn't feel addicted to the validation. He started to see through the noise. Not with his eyes, but with awareness. This is when real sight begins. Self-reflection. What am I starting to see clearly now that I never noticed before? Awakening sharpens the eyes, not to judge, but to understand. Ravi used to speak just to be heard. Now, he often chose silence. He used to perform. Now, he just was. He didn't need to prove anything anymore. His power wasn't loud, it was quiet. It came from alignment, from knowing what was real for him and letting go of what wasn't. He stopped chasing happiness and started embodying peace. This is what truth does, it roots you. Self-reflection. Where in my life am I living? Out of alignment with my truth? True power doesn't shout. It just stands calmly, unshakably. Ravi was the same man, and yet not. He walked slower. He listened deeper. He cried more easily, laughed more honestly. Everything felt more alive. He realized awakening didn't give him new things, it gave him new eyes. He could see the sacred in the simple, a child's laughter, the smell of rain, the warmth of breath. He was finally present, fully here. Self-reflection. What beauty have I been missing because I was too distracted? Awakening isn't a new life. It's seeing life as if it were new. Ravi didn't become a monk or move to the mountains. He still went to work, still paid bills. But now, he did it with presence. He spoke the truth even if his voice shook. He loved without needing to possess. He made choices from the inside out. His life became simpler, but fuller. He lost the version of himself that was never real, and in doing so, he found his life. Self-reflection. What does an authentic life look like for me, even in small, everyday ways? And so, the story ends where it began, with you. Listening, feeling, awakening. If you're watching this, you might be like Ravi. You might be hearing those whispers. And maybe you're scared to lose what isn't real. That's okay. It's human. But let me remind you, you are not your fears. Not your labels. Not your job title. Not your past. You are awareness. You are truth. You are the stillness beneath the noise. Awakening doesn't give you more, it gives you less of what never belonged. And in that space, you meet yourself again. So if your world is falling apart, don't rush to fix it. Sit in the ashes. Watch what no longer returns. That's where the real you waits. This isn't the end. It's the beginning.